Good morning everybody, welcome back to the channel. Although we're not at ET Art by B. Witten, we are at B. Witten on my channel at this present point in time, my personal channel. I still cannot upload to my ET Art by B. Witten channel, although there are links on this channel to the other channel as well, so you can find those within the description of the videos. I wanted to start here today because I wanted to have a few attempts at making a video, and I have had a few attempts, and every time I've tried I was stopped from doing so. I would imagine by those that are coming here they can do whatever they want, including turning that camera off that I'm looking at here, and turn it off whether it's got memory available or it's a brand new battery and so on. They just seem, if they don't want me to make a video because I've got something wrong, well, sometimes they just don't let me make a video, which is pretty much what's happened here. The funny thing is that my camera kept clicking off here. I want you to be aware of what we're seeing here is this is the schist disc, mysterious item from we've discussed till this point, and it has quite a few more meanings than one, as do most of the message that we have left here. I want you to realize that when I was making this video, the file names are coming up, and this has happened to me repetitively, where the file names themselves are relative. Every file in here, outside of these ones, the 888 one, that was another video I kept for a reason, are starting with 257, 257, 257, 257. They all start with that number 257, and it's relative. And when I was doing it, I had this schist disc here, and I'll bring that image up for you and I'll show you what we were discussing at the time, or at least what I was trying to discuss in this video. And in this video I was trying to discuss this period of time that the reptilians went back in time. That each division here was a 12 billion year period. The river rock that showed us what it was that we needed to know, this one. Now this image here is the one that I wanted to show you, where we had the white man and black man here. This side of this black hole, which is the one we also see the dinosaur coming out of here. This is the one that's telling us about the Neanderthal coming about after the humans had been gone. We were extinct at this point. Gone. The Neanderthals in here in the time that the galaxy is growing from this black hole. The alien species that we see here, the male with the circle and arrow on his forehead, the male is here, and the female species of the reptilian species is here, with her head held high. Her head is here, but with her head held down low she takes on human form, which is telling us what the problem was. A shrinking galaxy was causing the species that had evolved from the dinosaurs, or life forms from the dinosaur period. In actual fact, the ones that came back to get the white man and the Chinese man and the black man, all from this side of this black hole, but it didn't tell me here. I only worked out 40 billion years based on this one black hole here. This is the black hole that they're facing. We move in here and you can see quite easily the black hole here with the planets going in. This is their problem here. There's our alien species here, is male. Their problem is this black hole here. This is shrinking the galaxy, causing them a problem because their evolutionary period had the greater part of their intelligent life develop on a fully grown galaxy, which is where the problem come from. That was their problem, and in resolving their problem they've had to go back and get humans and bring us back into existence and obtain our DNA, not just our DNA but the DNA of the Neanderthal here, this character here with his nose and his tongue sticking out, his eye here. It's not the only one of those that I've got. There is another one that tells us also that the white man and the modern humans are this side. We are early on, before this man. We've discussed this. So what I wanted to show you is a couple of archaeological plates, all from Egypt, and all pretty much about telling us the same thing, and I'll explain to you. So I'll just come back here and just realise that that's actually why I had the plate up here. It was a process of going through and trying to work out whether it was 40 billion years, and I was coming back to make a change, and I was making the wrong change. I just wanted you to be aware of the PC that I put up posts on my social media account already. The PC number here, or the file being generated by the camera, this is where this number comes from. I don't make it. It just gets created by the day I make the video. So just remember that it's 257. 257 are the numbers that are not changing here. The last number, 2576, the last number, is changing with each attempt that I did of trying to make the video. In the end I just gave up and said, well, if you don't want me to make it, I won't make the video. Here you'll also note the date down here of the time I creating this video, at least attempting to. It's a couple of days before Christmas. And then I realised that it's a couple of days before Christmas that I'm trying to do this, when on Christmas Day something else came up and it made me understand exactly what it was I needed to know, and I'll show you what that is now. So 2 days after I attempted to make that video, I am then faced with, on Christmas morning, this image on my Google screensaver on my laptop, just as a desktop setting. One of the images, I've seen it before too. It's called Wadi Rum. It's about 257 miles due east of the pyramids themselves. In actual fact, it's there for a very good reason. I'm going to zoom into one or two spots here, and I'm going to show you that this is not as natural as you may ponder. And certainly when you see this, I'll bring in here to a few things that I want you to recognise in this lower corner here. So in other words, what I believe we're getting told here is a record of just exactly how far they went back to get us. In other words, it wasn't just one black hole. There were more. They had to go back. But I will show you this first. This is called Wadi Rum. It's in Jordan. I wanted to show you some images that are coming up here in the rock faces here. Now this is zoomed more into that corner, and you can see quite easily this guy's face here. This is the same guy. This is our alien guy, the same guy that we've just seen shown on the microscopic image on the rock on the right hand side. This is our man here. Here he's telling us how far he went back, and look at what he's doing here. He's gathering us all up. Here's his hands with the tree of life from humans, and he's gathering us all up, taking us all back because they needed us. They cannot exist in the center of a galaxy. They needed human DNA, and that is what we're being shown here. I'll zoom into the little bit on the bottom here. And you can see here quite easily this face of this individual. Also see a human face in here as well. He's telling us how far back they came to get the DNA of a human species. And these, I would expect, might be the amount of black holes he's had to go through, or billions of years. I'll show you on Google Earth where Wadi Rum is. Okay. Now, just so you know where Wadi Rum is, for those of you who want to know where it is, if you haven't seen at any point, Wadi Rum is right there. That's top of the Red Sea here, just in here. Okay. And that's the one where that structure is. And like I said, it's not a natural structure, it's as natural as the river rocks. They're all manufactured. And if we look over here, we'll see that the Cairo pyramids are over on this side here. Just in here. If we look at how far we are from one to the other in distance, we go from our Wadi Rum over to our pyramids and make it miles. It's exactly what it was, 257. What my camera kept stopping at. 257.6. It's exactly the distance we are seeing in miles backwards. The Earth is turning this way, so we're going opposite than the direction the Earth is turning and going backwards. 257. They've just told us how long it was in that distance. And they've also put the humans, because this is where the pyramids are, which are pertaining to human existence on Earth, and how the management of Earth, Moon and Sun and all such things are done and why, is here. It's actually slightly higher than they. Why is it slightly higher? Yet again, it's slightly higher because they have a very high opinion of us. It's why we're higher on the globe. We are creatures of creation. The reptilians are not. They are creatures of time and evolution. Humans are not. Once again, we are told the same thing here. I just wanted you to be aware that the 257 miles here is exactly the same number as the first three numbers in the file that I was trying to create to explain what was going on. And it was because I had a few mistakes in that video. I would have had a few mistakes had I not have been stopped from making it. I just wanted you to be aware of that. The other thing I wanted to show you is these three plates. When we look at the schist disc that we have on the screen at the moment, and understand that what we're seeing there is a plate or disc that is referencing, in my opinion, the galaxy, our galaxy. It's telling us how our galaxy folds back towards its centre. In other words, it's a natural process. It folds from the outside to the inside. It doesn't pull back. We've discussed this in the Folding Galaxy Part 1 and Part 2. I wanted to show you a few more plates because these were also the other things that were coming across my feed at the same time that I was contemplating making another video. So first of all, I wanted you to be aware, and remember if you would, that 257 miles, implementing the exact number on the files that were getting cut out so that I couldn't make them, and then understand that what we are seeing, in my opinion, with this plate here, this is also another one that's found in Egypt. These are made of stone. How you make that out of stone? Well, I guess you just print it with the technologies you've got that you use to print the river rocks. I just want you to be aware of what we're seeing on this one. How many folds do we have on this one? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 folds on this one. So we have 7 lips or 7 folds on this one. On this one we have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on the schist disc we only have 3. 3, 5 and 7. Let's multiply 3, 5 and 7 and let's see what we get. And I will do a quick sum for you now because we're going to look at these 3 plates that have these folds on them. We have one with a count of 3, one with a count of 5 and one with a count of 7. So we say 3 times 5 times 7 equals 105. Do you know how wide our galaxy is? I would expect that these 3 plates are telling us the historical event itself. In other words, with the 257, they're telling us how many billion years ago it was they went back, how far they went back, but how long ago did they do that? I believe the plates are telling us that. I want you to realize that from 257, remember that number if you would, 257 miles in the distance is exactly the same as in file numbers that were on my computer that kept getting cut out. It wasn't me doing it, it was them. We've got now 3 plates here with 3 times 5 times 7, the amount of files on every plate, equaling 105. And then realise that what we've got here is these plates are telling us exactly what the time frame is. If I go back to this plate, I'll show you 1 or 2 other pictures first. If these started, I also saw these. These were becoming evident to me, things that I hadn't been aware of. I realised what I was getting told about our folding back of our galaxy. By the way, the count around here is 32 and 40 around here, which equals 72. I want you to remember that 72. And why do I want you to remember that? Because if I go back to our schist disk plate and realise that what we were getting told in that is more than one thing. Yeah, now our schist disk, when we worked out what we were doing with this and that we had 12 billion years represented here, each one of these is 12 billion years, so this is a total period here then of 72 billion years. And it's been a total of 72 billion years, but the plate is showing, this plate, out of all those other plates, this is the only plate that is showing us the moon cycle. Now this moon cycle, for the moon to be moving in and out and doing all such things, is talking about human existence again. And it's talking about management of the system. It's talking about the management of the solar system, the movement of the sun, the movement of the moon, the protection of the equator. It's talking about that, so it's telling us that that process has been in place for 72 billion years. That is what it's telling us. Well, that one has been in 72 billion years. From our 257 billion years, we can then subtract 72. 257 billion. That's leaving us 185. Now let's go to our next plate. Now when we come back to this plate, we now look at what we've got. We've got one straight length out here. The straight length here is talking about a fully formed process. In other words, how far they've had to go back from when they went back. So in other words, they are saying to us that 72 billion years ago, they went back this far in time to get the human race. That's exactly what's going on here. That's why you're seeing these here. You're talking about a period of time where the galaxy has been absorbed, as it would normally do naturally, and be reborn again. That fold process, taking 12 billion years to come back out to being a full-size galaxy. This plate now is telling us exactly how many times and how many black holes they had to go through. So we already know from the other plate that each one of these divisions is 12. Each one of these is 12. So if we've now got 7 of these and 7 of these, we've got 14. 14 times 12, that is how far back they went. So 14 times 12 equals 168. 168, remember that. So we had 257 minus our 72, we minus our 168. We now have 17 billion years left. I want to show you 2 more plates now. 17 billion years. So what they've told us is that 72 billion years ago, they went back in time some 168 billion years in time, back in time to get the human race. That's what they've told us. That leaves 17 billion years. Now let's look at the last few plates. This one here, what do we see on the outside? We don't see any real straight edges like we did on the other plate. We see a count of 5. But that's not the only plate we need to look at. This is the other plate. Here. This is another plate that's sitting alongside the last one I just showed you. These two here. What you're going to be looking at here is an explanation of the process. In other words, how long it takes for to actually get the galaxy to the point where you can use it. If you're going to go back in time and get human DNA and put human DNA in themselves, which they know is going to cause the problem, they have to design the whole lot of this system, and it has to start. The process has to start. It has to actually take a time. You have to start the fold of the galaxy. You have to start the galaxy folding itself. And that's exactly what they've done. They don't just manipulate Sun, Moon and Earth. They manipulate the galaxy itself. The very same process here is what we're talking about. I've shown you about the... I have shown you the CERN logo before. And the CERN logo is telling us exactly that. I did want to come back and just discuss just for a second the CERN logo, and I did state that it does display exactly as we've been talking, that there is 1/4 of the mass of the galaxy, the other side of the black hole, and 3/4 this side. They also know this because of the lines that we see coming into this front circle as 3 in that direction, a little one going that way, but like I said, I believe that they're probably saying in CERN, in the logo here, that they believe that this managed portion of red dwarf stars are in actual fact cycling the neutrinos in the opposite direction, not just speeding them up. I don't think that's the case actually, but I did want to come back here and touch on that just for a very short period of time, because I did understand something else that was gravely important. And not only that, like I said, when we look at our last 2 plates that I've just showed you, I'll insert them here for you, there's got to be a time period here for the process to start. It's not like you're going to just be able to go bang and there all of a sudden you've now got a galaxy you've managed. You have to build the process. And some of those plates, these ones here I'll show you, are very, very important. Now I've shown you this star array many times. I now know exactly how this works. It's a little bit different than what I had anticipated. And knowing now, once I show you the management of the galaxy, and it was confirmed by something like this. This was drawn in the sky, in the night sky, in America on the 11th of the 12th, which was right when I was making the video saying that the reptilians' evolutionary period was in the 11th and 12th billionth year of a fully grown galaxy. And that this was written in the sky on the 11th of the 12th. That's exactly what happened. This is this year, last year, 2022. The video is Mr. MBB333. I do watch his work. He gets sent in a lot of things from all over the world. You can see that this was the 11th of the 12th, 22. And this was when I was talking about the donut galaxy. In other words, that our galaxy is like a donut, but it's not like a donut once. It's like it all the time. It's been made like this. If you were away from our galaxy, our spiraling galaxy does not look like you and I taught at school. It looks like this. It looks a little bit more like a UFO. I'll explain. I put a big cross through here because this is wrong. A fail. These are not 8 light years between each of these. It's actually this. What we've got here in our star array, just like this one here, it's where I've shown you there's 3 legs here. They're not 3 legs. It's not populating a galaxy. This is actually steering the stars back. There's red dwarf stars cycling each leg of this. 3 of them, going flat out. where I've got 8 here, I would also expect that that is wrong, that it's 1500 light years, and that the way that this feeds and moves the stars is like so. It steers them around. So if you've got a star coming along here, just say ours at one point, the one where this star, our sun, was coming along here, it's gone around this corner here, and now it's coming to a point of here. Our Earth is going to be around a star, that's this one here. This one here, which is where the people of us will all have to leave to, is why I've had this question mark here, like this. I now know where this one was coming from because they showed us in pictures like this one inserted here, that they're going to bring the star through a black hole. We already know that that's happened. It's been reported on mainstream media. But reflected this, and what's we're actually seeing here is we're getting one feed in this way and 2 feeds out. And what you're seeing here is a red dwarf star that's speeding around here like so, meeting the stars with a 9 here every 3,000 years. And the stars marked with 3 only visiting once every 9,000 years. What actually happens with it? I would expect what we're seeing is the humans are in this portion and the reptilians are in this portion, and this filtering process puts the reptilians to star X, which is that one, and the same with us. We feed backwards into this system, the people that fail, and they come back out and we take the good from the bad. And they will be feeding in, doing the same thing, but in the opposite direction down here. I would expect that what we're seeing here is these stars that are brought back here. In one instance, they go 3 times this way. They don't just go once. And they get brought back here and brought back again, and I will show you why. This is what I believe we're seeing happen. Something more like this. So here's our black hole. Here is our extremities of our galaxies and our stars getting turned back this way. What happens is that when they turn them back, they come back here and they go down through the black hole once, take them back up here, back through the black hole twice, back up here, back through the black hole 3 times. Once they've got here and they're 18 billion years old, this is a movement from here to here. It's taking 6 billion years. They have to do it 3 times from the time that the star is zeroed here. Something happens in here in the black hole. It zeroes the elements, makes them not have a record anymore of an existence in given realms. That's what's happening here. So they take this back 3 times this way. Well, by the time it's let to be 18 billion years old, it's then allowed to go on through the red dwarf star rays and the extremity. The reason why we're seeing 72 is telling us how many of those star rays there are on the extremities of the galaxy here. There's 72, roughly 4.6 or 4,600 light years in width, covering the area, and it's a 2 billion time frame to go through the black hole. So really 6 billion years out and down. The Earth's sun, they are telling us, is now 23 billion years old. But technically that's what it thinks it is. Okay, but like I said, it would appear to me that we're getting messages here that stars have to be a certain age before they're zeroed out by going through this black hole. They also have to have a recorded time period here. This is only roughly 500,000 years, this full turn here of the stars. The movement through here, we know from the human aspect of it, it's 337,000 years. We know that from this inserted picture here, the top of the parchment, or top of that recreation of that temple in Egypt, has saying the solar cycle is 337,000 years, but that'll be on the human part, it'll be on that part outwards. Once again, if I show you this picture, I would expect the 337,000 years is this part and out, not this part here. I would expect this is the reptilian species here. That's why I'm saying they get fed back in here, they get fed back into there as a dinosaur. We do not, that does not happen to humans. They get put back there as very young people running for their lives. And this is actually how, and it's not, like I said, it's not just this that's made me think that this is the way it is. So that's why we've always got, you know, 3/4 of the galaxy on one half of the black holes, because it's always going to be like that. It's always 3/4 here and 1/4 here, because you keep carting the stars back each time till they get old enough to be able to come through. So that's what they're doing. They're allowing one to come in here, another one to come in here, and they feed out like that, and they're bringing the other ones back that aren't old enough yet. They've got to be older before they can get through this process here. They have to be at least 18 billion years old to get onto that journey and come back into this point. And our star now is approximately 23 billion years old. How many stars, where we look at this here, there's 1,500 light years between each one of these stars, not 8 light years. It's going to be 1,500, and I would expect the stars that we're getting shown here aren't the only ones getting turned back. It's just the only ones that are pertinent to the deviant, or the deviation of the red dwarf stars and the steering of these red dwarf stars. It must be that there are certain stars that can steer and are designed to steer that back. Now I did want to show you some other plates that may reflect exactly the same thing, and that is that we're getting a manipulation of the galaxy by red dwarf stars, the turn back stars in the outer. In other words, our galaxy never gets to its original size, what it was when the reptilians had their problem. Now I'm going to just go through a few of these plates because they're all quite interesting. And like I said, it's reflective of a donut galaxy. It's what we are living in. It's not what we think. It's nothing like what we think. Okay? What we're told is a lie. Most everything we're told is a lie. Here, when I did count these around here, there's 32 and 40, which is 72, which is exactly the amount of we're getting told in Callisto's plate. Like I said, it was written on the 11th of the 12th, as donut here in the sky, and it was when I was saying that the most of the, you know, advanced growth of the reptilians happened in the 11th to 12th billionth year. They've confirmed that for us by drawing that in the sky. It's exactly why it's happened. I just wanted to show you that these are, in my opinion, things that are left on our planet to tell us exactly what we wanted to know, you know, what we need to know. There's obviously life forms that can exist in certain areas that can't exist in others. So, you know, like I said, there's a lot we've got to learn, without doubt. This one here is, once again, it'd be another one you'd say, well, I know it's damaged. Well, no, maybe it's not damaged. Maybe it's not damaged at all. This is exactly what they want you to realise. That the donut galaxy leaves 3/4 on one side of the black hole and 1/4 of the mass on the other side. Which is not telling us the same thing. So I would expect what we're getting told with not just that, but this as well. These plates here, these are all relative, but I believe that when we go further up here, we may be even getting told that our galaxy doesn't look like what we think. It looks like this. And that makes me wonder, you know, these types of things are seen all over the world. These. In Russia, in South America. Whether they're left in places where people have to leave, but I would expect what they're saying is that is exactly how our galaxy looks. Which makes me wonder whether or not, when you see more mass one side of the galaxy than the other, is whether they're actually moving the galaxy. Whether that is what they're doing. Is that how they got to other galaxies? They took the galaxy with them. I don't know. I really don't know. All I know is that they're saying to us, without doubt, especially getting that drawing drawn in the sky, that is the situation. And if we went back and looked at our last two plates and then realised that, well, okay, what they're telling us here, we've got 17 billion years left of our list, but in reality, there would have had to have been a period of time where you've got to build, you've got to prepare. You would have had to have, prepared for millions of years before it happened. Millions of years. So they would have had to have gone back, I would expect, prior to the event. They would have known they had the problem, because if they tried to move closer to the inside of the galaxy to have children, they would have had the same problem. So this whole process here, in our last plate, I think they're telling us here that we've got about 17 billion years left. A folding one way was 5, and you've got to set it all up and have it all running. So we've got about 17 billion years left. I would expect that they're saying, although we know the reptilians are only evolved in the 11th and 12th billionth year, they would have had to do the DNA stuff very, very quickly. Very quickly. And once the DNA side of things, they would have designed a galaxy very similar to this. And they would have invoked the process. Our galaxy would have looked like this. They would have set these stars up more here in the middle, not the outer. That's what they've done here. They've made this outside ring of stars. They are physically on the outside, but they would have actually had them here at the point and start, because you've got to fold the galaxy back in and let ones go back this way. That's how you would do it. So I would expect that they may be telling us that it could be that these galaxies are, these are disks these are found all over the world. There's not just one place. So whether it's telling us that they've populated multiple galaxies using the same process, I don't know. Another one there as well. These are huge. I would expect that they're telling us that's what our galaxy looks like, and it may be moving to another galaxy deliberately to populate another one. I don't know. I think that's all I want to discuss today. I think I've covered everything I wanted to. Make you aware that it's a far, far, far longer period of time, and that we certainly have been brought back into existence by the reptilians. That is without doubt part of the story. It's helped them exist beyond they would have disappeared just as surely as we had. And we were brought back into existence, and our not just Earth, Moon and Sun that is being manipulated, it's the entire galaxy. That's all from Brian Whitten and ETR. Have a lovely day. Bye bye.